Hi, Sue Wilson, and I have a Christmas card for you today that's a little more modern in its styling, but very, very pretty. I love the bright colors in this, and we're going to show you how we created this background. The dies we'll be using in today's card are from the festive collection, the Nativity, as well as the Rays of Light background. I'm going to be using a few other products, our new pixie powders, and I've got some colors here. This is the Lava Red. This is the Sun Yellow pixie powder. And this one is the Rich Gold. It's a beautiful combination of colors, I think. Along with that, we'll also be using some Cosmic Shimmer lacquer and some clear microbeads too. So I'll set those aside, and we're going to do a little bit of cutting to begin with, starting with the Rays of Light background and a piece of coconut white card. We'll pop that into place, and I'm just going to center it. I'll tape it into place, and I'll give you a quick measurement. Yeah. There. Now, there are no cutting edges to the outside of my background die, so you can create a background any size you like. I've started with a piece of card that is 4 3/4 by just a hair over 6.5 inches. Okay, we'll grab our plates here. And because it's a fairly large die, when it rolls through the machine, if you hit the edge even, it's a little harder to turn. So I find it's easier if you just tilt it a bit, and you'll hit this portion first and work your way up. And I'll run it back towards me. Okay. Let's just untape it. Actually, I tell you what, I'm going to do a little embossing. It really brings out the beauty in this one. So take our clear cutting plates out, turn the die right side up so that the so the cutting edges are upward towards you, and lay it on the base plate. Tan mat and the blue plate that comes with the machine. There we go. Now let's see. Still have a little piece of tape on here, so carefully remove that. And use your tool in one. Take away the extra bits. And there's one more we missed. Peel this away. So you can see just how pretty that background cuts. And you've got a lot of little piercing dots that come in through the bottom of the background there. Gives it a really nice feature. So let's tidy up our fall-away pieces. Now, to the back of this, you want to add some mounting foam. So I've already gone ahead and done that, but we're going to create the background first. So I'm going to bring in another piece of coconut white card, and this one is just a little bit larger than what I need, which I find it's easier to work that way. In fact, if you want to do a full size, you can do this background and cut it up and use little bits of it for later. A little bit of water, just spritzing it. And we're going to bring in our pixie powders. Let me just move these out of the way. So I've got the gold, the yellow, and the red here. Give them a tap. They are powders. Take the lids off. There we go. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. Your first reaction is to squeeze it, but I find that gives you just a little bit too much. So I think tapping it is an easier way to go. And sometimes you'll have to get it started just by tapping a little down to the end. There we go. And I think you have an easier time getting the coverage that you want. There we go. A little bit of tap. It's a little bit lighter. You don't get so much of a spray. Add a little bit of that color there. You can always go back and add more if you like. Tap some more. And although it doesn't look like a lot, these are really pigmented, so you're going to get a lot of color when we spritz it again. Tiny bit more, let's see. There we go. So I'm going to give it another spritz with the water. And you can see these start to really come to life. Isn't that pretty? Now, I like to let these dry naturally. You can obviously take a heat tool to it if you like. You can even go back in and add more of the pixie powders if you want it deeper. But what I've done is I'm going to set this one aside. And I've got one I've created earlier. Now it's completely dry. And in fact, let me just tidy this up a little bit with some Grime Boss. You've got a lot of that powder. And you could even let this Grime Boss dry and cut it and use it for flowers, because there's just so much pigment there. There we go. And I'm just going to give that a damp wipe. But you can see how beautiful those colors are now. And these have mica powders in them, so you've got a lovely shimmer to it. Now, from this point, you could use this as a background as well, but I wanted to add a little texture. So what I've done is I've gotten some of the Cosmic Lacquer. I put a bit onto the card, just gone over it with my finger to spread it out, like that. Let me get a tissue. There we go. And I've just added some micro beads to this. Just a few, just to give it a little bit more of a texture. Okay. The lacquer will act as a glue, so that will dry, and then you'll have a piece that looks like this. And you'll see every time you do these, the color is going to be completely different. Everyone's going to be unique, which is kind of cool too. I like that. But it gives it a nice little texture to show through our background. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the back here. I've got the Rays of Light background all ready with some mounting foam. I recommend adding a little bit of foam to each of those rays to really keep it up nice and secure. You don't want it to sag. Just peel these off. And they're wide enough that you can easily add a little bit of mounting foam to the back of them. And because we have some texture there, you also want to add some glue. So bring out your Cosmic Shimmer Dry's Clear Glue and add it to your mounting foam. Make sure it just coats those pieces nicely. A little bit here. Let me turn it all the way around. We want it to stick really well. And there, and a few on here as well. Okay, and I've cut this hopefully to the right size. I'm just going to pop that into place that way. Give that a second. I've got a tiny bit of glue there, so let's wipe that up. Okay, so now we've got a really gorgeous background which shows through that rays of light. Isn't that pretty? You've got all those different colors coming together, and it does look like a burst of sunlight to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that onto my backing. I've gone and added some piercing dots to this. I've matted it with a little bit of black to bring out the black that I'm going to use on the Nativity. We'll pop that into place, just like that. There we go. Now I've cut this already in the white, and you can see this particular die is done in two different pieces. So you've got the inner decorative piece and the outer cutting edge. So I've cut both pieces in the white, and then I've used some black gloss card just for the background on it. So I'm going to put the two of them together, and I think it'll be easier just to use a little bit of the fine line glue here. This is our same Cosmic Shimmer Dry's Clear glue, but it's got this really nice little brush on it. So you can just get in these pieces where they're a little bit more detailed. Put some here and all the way around it. We want to make sure it's stuck really well. There we go. And a little bit in the center here. Nice little touches. There we go. It'll line up perfectly with this. Now with gloss card, you want to be careful because you don't want to get any glue where you don't want it. It will show. So try to get it lined up first thing. There we go. Give it some gentle pressure. And I've added a little bit of mounting foam to the back of it already. Pop that off and seat that right in the lower corner of our card. Absolutely gorgeous. Looks like the rays are just shining down on them. Isn't that beautiful? I think that is a stunning Christmas card, and one that you could do in a batch quite easily. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. We have a whole bunch more videos on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to like us too.